My name is Kate Danford, and this is my final presentation for my final major project. I'll tell you the idea first. Basically, it's a stop motion. There's two characters, Finn and Morris. They're clay models, so pig and sheep. And they'll be reenacting famous TV scenes and film scenes. I wanted to do this because I wanted to challenge myself a bit. It's something I've never really done before, so I thought I'd give it a go and see what happens. And it's something I've sort of been interested in. I mean, I've seen like Wallace and Gromit and all the like classic comedies and stuff, animations and stuff. And I just wanted to develop my knowledge in it, really. Influences for this project, for regards to animation, it was like Wallace and Gromit, Chicken Run, Art Productions or something like that. I can't remember the word now. They sort of create a lot of good clay sort of model things. And with regards to scene ideas that I wanted to recreate, obviously I got inspiration from watched loads of different shows and TV and film, and thought of the most sort of popular ones and what ones would be quite amusing to recreate. Research-wise, I did two questionnaires to find out. The first one was to find out what people knew about stop motion already, so I can get an idea of like what they knew, and also so I knew not to make it too complicated, or just make it a bit more sort of simple for me and them. And also the second questionnaire was to do with my scene ideas. So I wanted to see, I'd come up with all these ideas and I'd sort of put it out towards loads of people, and people would said what scenes they would like to see and what scenes they wasn't really keen on seeing and that. Out of the first questionnaire, questions 5, 6 and 7 helped me the most, because the question 5 I asked what subgenres they were interested in. Comedy was very popular, so I sort of obviously evolved it around that. Question 6 and 7 I sort of joined as one when I put the results together. It's just responses for my idea. Like I did a brief of my idea. A lot of it was quite positive. They seemed like I was quite interested in it, and they were like, "Oh, that sounds pretty good, something different." So that was looking quite good. I only did 3 questions for the second questionnaire. The first 2 were age and gender, so it wasn't 2. But the second question 3 was about the ideas I wanted to come up with. So, and I got people to vote on what ideas they liked best. So the most popular one was probably E.T., which I actually didn't end up doing in the end because it was quite tricky to do. But the others, which were quite popular, the Big Diddley, Dirty Dancing, Titanic and all that, so I decided to look at them. Secondary research, I looked at loads of YouTube links. Mainly, the secondary research was mainly to do with the lighting and to do with editing techniques, how to edit, frame rates. So helped me decide on 24 frames per second, which I felt helped create a more slightly smoother movement. And 3-point lighting, with regards to the lighting, I did some work on it in class a few months ago. I sort of used that to help me decide what lighting I wanted to use. I only used the one light at the end. Planning and pre-production. So the mood board helped me visualise the scene ideas, so it helped me picture it all. Production schedule, obviously it helped me set my own deadlines for when to get things done. I didn't always keep to it because filming especially took a long time to do, so I had to go back and alter it every now and then and that. The first pitch I did, I got some useful feedback. Like one of them was to ask a couple of members of staff here at the college for advice because they've had experience in stop motion, and I took on this advice and I got some good feedback and some good advice from 2 members with regards to lighting and editing and filming and that. Research, obviously both primary and secondary helped me. Mainly the research helped me with ideas for scenes to do and how to put it together, the layout and that. I also did some test shots beforehand, so I got an idea of how to focus the camera, how to move the characters in a certain way so it doesn't look too jumpy and too sudden. Although sometimes you'll see from my actual film there are times when I accidentally you can see a sort of jump or a sort of movement, but I did try and not have the sudden jumps. The constraints, there were quite a few, to be honest. Lighting, I had a small studio at my house in a darkened room. There's no natural lighting. I only used one LED light. Although occasionally, because I was sitting by a door, occasionally the door would open, so a natural light would come in, so it would affect the lighting occasionally. Another constraint were the clay models, because they weren't moving as well as I wanted them to move, and occasionally they were falling over a lot, and there were times where I'd get a bit frustrated and I'll have to sort of have a break and just leave it. But eventually, later on, I sort of realised, because I'm doing a sort of parody, I'm mocking certain TV film programmes, I sort of thought falling over, every time I got a picture of them falling over or not moving correctly or whatever, I thought I'd add that into the film, so then it's sort of, because it wasn't meant to go by anyway, if that makes sense. And also the camera had a few difficulties focusing at times, so I had to go back and refilm and alter a few settings and stuff. With the work that I've completed so far, it isn't completed yet. I've still got one more scene to sort of add to it, but I've put together what I've done quite a bit of it already. There are clearly quite a few improvements that I could make by editing and maybe reshooting, which I might reshoot next week, one or two scenes, or one scene. I like how I've stuck through the same idea throughout. From the start I knew I was going to have a film where we recreate famous film and TV scenes. I sort of knew that was what I was going to do. I've always stuck with the same characters, and overall there are a few things that I should have done better, but I don't think I did too bad, because it is my first proper go doing this, so there are going to be mistakes, but I tried. Current state is, there's a draft edit done, obviously there's more to improve on. I need to add a few backgrounds for the green screen and that, sort out some jumpiness, and I need to edit in another scene. I can show you a little bit of what I've done now. How do I hope to meet the final deadline? So I aim to complete my final edit hopefully this week and next week as well. I'm taking a MacBook home. I aim to get my evaluation completed by the 8th of June, which is deadline, and my director's commentary hopefully, but I know I could have a few more days for next week if needed. But that's basically it, and that's it. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. Okay, I just wanted to pick up on a couple of things, Katie. Okay, so what were so you said you had some problems with lighting. Okay, so and how did you get around those problems?
So obviously I said how the door kept opening and that. I just sort of made sure the door was shut. I tried to make sure the door was shut at all times and that, and the lighting I sort of altered on I've got an LED light I bought here, so I sort of altered that. And
the ones that the shots where the door was open, did you end up doing those again, or you redone those?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the questions that I had was going to be about audio, but I think I'll see, looking at your draft edit, I can see how that's happening. I like the Vicar of Dibley the sketch. I think that looks quite
It's
nice.
my favourite, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay. You said there's one that you're going to be redoing.
Yeah,
Which one's that?
Mastermind.
Mastermind.
The Mastermind
Okay.
scene.
So what were the different ones that you did? So you did Vicar of Dibley. You
Vicar
did
of Dibley.
Scene from
I originally
Titanic.
had about 8 ideas, but then I
Yeah.
obviously cut it down and cut it down again.
Yeah.
I tried a dirty dancing scene, but it was way too complicated. That I thought
Yeah.
it would. I had an idea for it and I had a way of doing it. I had all these sort of contraptions out of Lego where I could sort of make it work. But
Right.
when it came to filming, I was like, there's no way this is going to sort of work. So I ended up, in my final thing, it's going to be Vicar of Dibley, Titanic, and the Mastermind. I thought
Right.
those three
Okay.
scenes, main ones.
Did you write about the ones the failures?
Yes, in my
You did?
journals.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And did you think you learnt things from that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who do you think your target audience is for this?
I think it sort of varies. I think because I've shown a few people this draft. Obviously, you guys have seen it now. That draft edit, and I've told people about my idea and that.
Right.
And a lot of people who I've asked, they're all sort of young adults,
Right.
or teenagers, young adults. They all seem quite into it. I think it depends on your sense of humour as well, because it is quite silly humour. So I mean, it might appeal to sort of children as well, I suppose, because that's the thing that I find.
Have you seen anything like this on YouTube?
I've seen sort of play animation in sketches, sort of thing, not recreating films or TV scenes. I haven't seen anything like that.
Okay.
I've seen some Lego sort of versions of it, but not play.
Right.
I can
Okay.
find it anyway.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Where's the buffet I was promised?